Yes, I'm the Deputy Cultural Attaché here at the U.S. Embassy, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here today to the event at the American Center in the embassy. Today's event is the influence of American music on popular culture. I think we can all agree that music has been a powerful force for connection, for creativity, and cultural exchange. It transcends borders, and differences, and it brings people together in different ways, as in a way that few other mediums can. American music in particular has played a significant role in shaping the global popular culture, influencing everything from fashion to film to social movements and even identity. Today's event is part of the U.S. Mission's Music Diplomacy Program, which seeks to strengthen the bonds between the United States and Nigeria through the universal language of music. We are honored to have with us today Pipeline Vocals Project, an Alaskan a cappella group and an Alaskan a cappella trio, whose performances and collaborations embody the spirit of cultural exchange. Joining them on the panel are Professor Liman Abubakar, whose expertise in cultural studies will provide valuable insights as he delivers the keynote speech, and Nomisgee, a talented Nigerian artist whose work bridges local and global audiences. Together, they will help us unpack the ways in which American music has shaped popular culture and how it continues to inspire creativity and collaboration across borders. I encourage you to actively engage in today's conversation, ask questions, and share your perspectives. Thank you, and I look forward to this thought-provoking session.
Thank you so much, Reza, for giving that wonderful speech there. With that speech, I think we should kick off the conversation for today. But before we go into that quickly, let me read the bio of our keynote speaker for today, Professor Abubakar Liman. Professor Abubakar Liman is a scholar of comparative literature and popular culture at Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Nigeria. His research focuses on oral literature, literary theory, and cultural studies. He was awarded the African Humanities Fellowship by the American Center Abuja Societies in 2011 and was named a Presidential Fellow of the American Studies Association in San Diego, in USA in 2015. He has published widely in both local and international journals. So let's put us together to welcome I'll go ahead to introduce our other speakers for today and panelists, so that once we dive into the conversation, we'll just carry on from there. Permit me to also introduce our distinguished guests who came all the way from the US to actually share their experience with us here today. They are called Pipeline Vocal Project Group. Please let's put our hands together for them. Coming all the way in Europe. Pipeline Vocal Project is an Alaska vocal trio that performs a contemporary show with genre bands and music time travels, covering songs by Bruno Mars, Billie Eilish, Chuck Root, Lizzo, Khalid, Jason Derulo, Disney, and many more. It's fresh, energized, yet nostalgic, performing top hits from all eras with a unique twist. These three girls have the voices, the style, and the moves, hopping through genre and decades from start to finish. You'll be entertained with their clever arrangement, amazing harmonies, and a soundscape of a band coming from only three voices. Since their inception in 2019, Pipeline Vocal Project has been breaking down barriers by being one of the only group of its kind in the nation. The diverse people, artist vocal arrangement, and high energy performance has led them to perform in over 12 countries, becoming cultural ambassador for the US Department of State, gain over 300,000 followers online, and perform at the 2022 World Expo in Dubai, to name a few. All artists in their over all artists in their own right. Together they have come together to create an epic. Please, let's put our hands together for the and our third panelist for today, award-winning music star Abubakar, Aminu Abba Umar, aka Nomisgee, has become a household name across northern Nigeria and in Hausa-speaking communities in the Lake Chad Basin, Sub-Saharan Africa, Sudan, and Saudi Arabia. Through the Arewa 24 Pioneer House TV station, the pop star has used the platform to reach out and influence many young people aged 12 to 30 on creativity, talent growth, and community development. Entertainment and lifestyle television network in Nigeria and West Africa. More importantly, Aminu Umar has used the Arewa 24 platform to advocate for peace, engage other influential music celebrities for discourse. He's a role model and has mentored several young boys and girls in northern Niger through music, and many which he sponsors out of pocket. He has served as an executive producer of 2 music shows, outside hip hop and Top 10, where he was responsible for sourcing, creating, vetting, and supervising the creative content for the Hausa hip hop. He also produces content for African Magic in Hausa. Let's put our hands together for Nomisgee. It is my singular honor to welcome Professor Abubakar Liman to give his opening speech. Prof, over to you, please. You are muted. We can't hear you.
Yes. The title of my presentation is Exploring the Influence of American Music on Popular Culture. Initially, I wanted to temper with the topic, but I decided to let it be as assigned to me to discuss. By way of introduction, I would like to admit that American music is a strong cultural force in the world. For me, from my own personal experience from the mid-20th century to date, different genres of American music like jazz, R&B, rock, soul, pop, and hip hop have indeed exercised tremendous influence on young people.
Prof, we can't hear you again.
I think they're frozen.
Keep this frozen.
It's frozen.
Rap and hip hop music came much later for some of us. By the mid-1990s, rap and hip hop music, hip hop, have become very popular on Nigerian university campuses. But the influence of American music dwindled a little bit with the coming of digital media, which influence and digital technology, which influence the production of local hip hop in Nigeria. But before we proceed, we need to make some clarification on the key operational concepts in the topic given to me. Because there is a lot of intersectionality between American music in its different genres and popular culture. In theory and practice, there is, as I said, intersectionality between hip hop culture, which in itself is a genre of American music, and what we refer to as popular culture. I will proceed on the assumption that a significant proportion of contemporary American music is part and parcel of American pop culture. In a lot of academic institutions in the United States, it is not popular culture that is used, but pop culture. But generally speaking, it is popular culture in all other places. First, what is this popular culture? There are different conceptions, approaches, and perspectives on what exactly constitutes popular culture. And the different definitions of popular culture in academic writers are embedded in theoretically and ideologically conflicting scholarly approaches. In Inventing Popular Culture, a book written by John Story, published 2006, he identified 8 approaches to popular culture studies. 1, in some cycles, it is seen as folk culture, particularly in pre-modern societies. But in a more modern setting, popular culture, by modern setting, I mean industrialized settings, urbanized settings, where we have predominantly the working class. In such a setting, popular culture is seen as mass culture. In earlier discourses in Europe, popular culture is nothing but the other of high culture, the culture of the dominant elite in society. Again, from some Marxist cycles, popular culture is seen as a site of hegemonic contestation between the forces of cooptation and subordinate groups in society. Until recently, there is a postmodern definition of popular culture. You should know that the concept of postmodernism is a cultural concept, and it tends to breach the gap between what is considered as mass culture or folk culture and high culture. Because culture today is virtually commercialized. Number 6, Story also argued that Popular culture is a space for cultural identity construction. And for people like Stuart Hall, Paddy Warner, that have published a book titled Popular Arts, popular culture is nothing but popular arts. Again, we all see it today as a global culture with its flows from advanced capitalist countries to post-colonial countries of Africa, Asia, and Latin America. But from whichever angle you want to look at it, popular culture is the culture of the people, for the people, by the people. It is an inclusive kind of culture. It runs away from the exclusivism of high culture.
Yes, so that after program will come, because no internet.
But our concern is in what Professor Hillis Miller
Prof, please unmute. You're muted. Zaria, please unmute. You're muted. Prof, hold on. We can't hear you.
Hold on, Prof.
Hello, can you hear me?
process. Majority of the audience of American pop culture are the youth of the world. In other words, we can comfortably define popular culture as youth culture. Based on Miller's analysis, despite the differences of culture, of language, or values across the world, the American pop culture is a powerful influence on the youth in the world. The power of this culture to erode local differences is so great that it makes one, according to Liman, extremely anxious about the possibility of enhancing or developing those regional specificities that seems to be normal and proper as human condition. But we should now narrow down everything. I guess at this point we understand what popular culture is. The focus of this discussion is hip-hop music. So I decided to ignore most of the American commentators and scholars and researchers on hip-hop music. I decided to pick a definition from a Chinese scholar, Huan Li, 2025 recently. In an article titled The History and Evolution of Hip-Hop Music from Cultural Roots to Global Dominance. According to him, hip-hop can be characterized as a musical genre, a cultural movement, or even a spirit that exists within people's hearts. It began in the 1970s at Bronx as a voice for African American and Latino communities who find it convenient to express their grievances against the dominant system in the United States. But gradually, it evolved into a global phenomenon thanks to the efforts and inventiveness of countless artists. hip hop now is seriously impacting on language, dress, identity, in addition to mainstream musical performance. Its global growth has resulted in numerous local variations that retain their core themes of struggle, individuality, self-expression. But then I look at just one.
Pivot to opening it up for the actual questions and the panel. Is that possible?
Yes.
It's possible. Yeah. It's a little too terrible.
Hello, Dauda, can you hear me?
Maybe you can just call them while we pivot. Okay, so I think Prof did a great job of kind of outlining high points of popular culture and how US influence has been a part of popular culture. He talked about several different musical genres, including hip hop, but more broadly, some other opportunities for US influence. That being said, maybe we'll open it all to you in terms of what are your first questions for our panelists here while we're waiting to get the remaining spaces back online. And maybe I'll start, if that's okay, while you guys are thinking about your questions. So I think the first question is, how did you know that you wanted to pursue a cappella, that you want to pursue this as an actual career? And how did you guys kind of form? What's your origin story?
Well, our origin story we formed in 2019. I was doing some a cappella work throughout the country. I was always really drawn to it because of its like raw and pure form of connecting with people. You don't hide behind any instruments, and you really get to have that bond and connectivity that happens in your body with people.
Hello. Oh, wow. Okay. And so I moved back to my home, Alaska, and I wanted to continue doing a cappella, but in Alaska, the music scene is so small, there was no a cappella happening. And so I decided to create my own group, and I recruited some people, Molly included. And then just last year, Taylor joined us last April. And I met her through a camp in Ohio, which is her home state, called Camp Acapella. And that was almost 10 years ago now. Actually, exactly 10, yeah. And yes, I think something about acapella that draws us and our mission statement is we use acapella to bridge people and culture and different languages together so we can try to make the world feel a little bit smaller and highlight all of our similarities among us as humans as opposed to focusing on our differences.
Other questions? Or keep going? I'll keep going. Great. So I actually used to do a cappella when I was younger, back in the day. Yay, exciting. And I mean, I think about the stress on your voice, right? And I know, you're not feeling 100% Lisa, but can you just talk about, especially given that this is your profession, especially given that you're traveling around the world and going to all these different countries, how do you maintain your body? How do you sustain yourself for that?
So vocal health is important no matter, or in a lot of different professions. Obviously for being a singer, being a teacher, it's very important. I think there's lots of different ways. Anyone who's going to be speaking a lot in their job, vocal health is key for longevity in those careers. So obviously you saw us, we're not chill about our water. We drink a lot of water. Sleep is crucial. Different people have different tricks of the trade as far as what they eat, and like a lot of people avoid dairy before they sing. And you know, staying healthy is kind of the most crucial thing. I was curious, is there any musicians in the room? Are any of you guys musicians? Yes, yeah, okay, great, great, great. Yeah, so I think tea is also really great. What about you guys? I have a like portable humidifier I like to bring with me, and it has like little lavender Vicks pads in there, just kind of soothe everything. Definitely doing warm-ups like throughout the day, just checking in on your voice and you know, eating good, sleeping well, and a little prayer. Exactly what they said.
I do have a question. My question is, I did a cappella when I was quite young, when I was in, I think, my high school period. But I love the raw emotion and all of that comes with it. My question is, what were your influences while you started it? And like, you still like, with the boom of, let's say, Afrobeat and all that, you see a way maybe you guys could like collaborate with some of the artists who are kind of like popular at the moment?
Yes, yes, I would love to work. We actually in Lagos a couple of days ago, we went to the Ogidi Studios and did an a cappella song with some local artists. So I think that there is a very high chance that we will be working in that space. I think Afrobeats, obviously, like you said, there's a huge boom right now. And even in some Afrobeat music, there will be like a breakdown where it's a cappella, you know? It might not be the whole song, but there are those moments of just vocal music. And you see that in a lot of different genres of popular culture. We do say pop culture. I never realized that everyone else says popular culture. Anyway, but yeah, I would love to, and I think we would love to work in that space. Afrobeats are so cool, and obviously the world is loving it. So we would love to be a part of that. And we arranged a song specifically for Nigeria that we'll be performing with some local groups here, which we're super excited about. So hoping you can come to perform that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, super glad to have you here. My question is, what's the future of a cappella music? It's not as popular as jazz, pop, blues. Do you see a cappella going viral, like they say? What's like the future of a cappella music? Not like, I don't think our children know what a cappella music is. So, or what's the plan to make it quite popular?
I have like two different branches to that question. So I think a cappella, at least in the US, had its peak at around like 2012 on the you know, Pitch Perfect movies, Pentatonics, the Sing Off, all those things really propelled that industry forward. And I think after that, we're seeing a little bit of a decline. But the second part to that is like the thing that keeps me going is that a cappella is one of the oldest forms of music, right? Because we all had voices first, that was the first instrument. So I think a cappella, even though it might come in waves in terms of pop culture, it will always be such a foundation and a core part of many cultures and traditions around the world. Okay, answers your question. Yeah, and like to add on that, it always comes in waves, but I see a cappella being used in different formats or places that normally you don't see it in, outside of like college a cappella, which is really big. There's like musicals being made now. That's all a cappella. And with social media, you see videos of people singing and people are connecting, and then you see three people sitting in a kitchen singing songs all a cappella. Like, you know, it grows in different ways like that, which is exciting. When I think of the way a cappella continues to be a part of popular culture, I would say, as opposed to being as dominant as a genre as jazz or blues or rock have been in the United States, I see it as being incorporated in with those. You know what I mean? Like, I think you can sing blues a cappella, you can sing jazz a cappella, so it's that kind of extra component as opposed to necessarily being its own genre. So there's definitely space for that still within the genres that we're seeing today.
So maybe we'll pitch it to some of the people that are online as well. If you have questions, please drop them in the Zoom chat. And we'll be sure to see them there and ask. In the meantime, I also wanted to ask the question maybe about if you could talk more broadly about how you see technology such as streaming platforms and social media amplifying the global influence of American culture or American acapella specifically. Kind of how do you see the ability to collaborate in online space as something that is a force multiplier?
Yeah, kind of like what I said earlier, with there being, TikTok and Instagram, it's become more accessible for people around the world to be able to communicate that way and like stitch videos and be able to collaborate with other artists. And then that goes into, hey, like this video did well, or we like singing together. Like, what if we do another one? What if we do this? Oh, what if we did a song together? Like the plant's a seed that kind of evolves. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of opportunities can come from social media. We've had multiple times when, a video had done well and Sony Pictures reached out to us to do a collaboration with Fran Drescher from The Nanny. It's a famous TV show from the 80s and 90s in the US, but to do their theme song. But never in our dreams would we have ever thought that would happen. But that's just, kind of what can happen from social media, which is a really exciting part of it. And like in a world perspective, we're seeing, as the professor was saying, like a lot of world music interacting with American music. I mean, we heard Travis Scott on the radio on an Afrobeat song yesterday, and that's awesome. We love to hear that, and I just see that happening more and more. I think I'm embarrassed to say it, but I think my Afrobeats introduction was like Wizkid and Drake, right? That was my first time from way up in the north, in Alaska, hearing Afrobeats, and like I'm so late. I'm so late to the party. So I think just some more Afrobeats collaborations within the United States and in Nigeria are awesome, and I think they'll probably continue.
See, there's a question here, but really quickly before we go to you, I'm going to pitch it to our alum. Nomisgee, can you maybe speak to, especially building off of what PVP just said, how you see American music as influencing Nigerian popular culture and vice versa? Nomisgee, if you're speaking, you're on mute. We'll give it a second.
Nomis, can you unmute and talk?
Okay, so maybe while we're waiting to resolve the technical issue, maybe we'll go to the question out in the room.
Thank you very much. I believe that what makes a song by music vibration great is arrangement. So I would love to know the thought process that goes into it.
Sorry.
I said any good song is how it's arranged. And I would like to understand the thought process into arrangement.
Oh, okay. Yeah. When we arrange a song, I try to think about, okay, what purpose is this song going to serve in our show, first of all? How does it fit in? And oftentimes I will try to make the song something a little bit different than what people are used to hearing, because we do cover songs. So usually it's something that's very popular that everyone's going to know. But as a trio, we can't imitate the original song with all the instruments and the effects, right? So we have to change it somehow to make it seem, make it our own, exactly. So I think about that, and that's why we do these like genre bends Or we'll take a song from today and do it in like a 1950s or 1940s style. So completely twisting it in a unique way so that it's like hearing a song but in a way like you've never heard. That's kind of my philosophy with it. And then as far as process, we don't sheet music. Because with 3 people and with one person beatboxing, a second person, it doesn't make sense to do all of that. So I do it on like in a DAW, like a garage band or Logic, and sing the parts into a microphone and then build the arrangement that way and stack the voices. And that's how we learn our music by oral.
So, good afternoon. There are all sorts of social issues in Africa and there are all sorts of social issues in Africa and the world in general. Which particular social issue is of interest to you? Because music can be a tool to impact change. So, which particular issue in Africa is of importance, and how can we help to for it to be a win-win, for your music to go far and then for change to be enacted?
Well, I won't presume to speak on how I think you should change issues in Africa, because I am a musician and I'm definitely wanting to create change through music, more through expression, right? So I think as an all-female trio, female representation in music is very important to us. And we loved working with a lot of the female musicians yesterday and in Lagos in general. But I think we love that. We want to have inclusive spaces for women in music and for people in music. And I think that's important to all of us. But as far as like ranking issues, I don't want to get into all that. But there's so many things that are important in the world, that are happening in the world, and hopefully we can just kind of bridge people to people and be we're all just together within the music and within the shows that we're doing, and make the world a little smaller, at least is that.
I think we have time for one more question, and then we have time for one more question, and I don't see any on the chat. So is there anyone here that has the last question? Okay.
Thank you very much. Personally, as a therapist, music is very therapeutic and everything. So I'm very curious, your music takes you around the world and everything, Do you have plans to collaborate with non-English speaking musicians, because I so much believe in the power of music and the interconnection between languages. Do you have current plans or future plans to collaborate with non-English speaking musicians?
I mean, so we love singing in other languages. As far as plans on the books to collaborate in other languages, we are singing in Pidgin a little bit, in our Nigerian song. But I think we sing in at least let's see, three or four different languages just in the show that we did yesterday. And we sing in lots of different languages when we travel. We try and learn a language or learn a song in the language of the country that we're going to, and that has led us to accumulate a couple of numbers. So yeah, I think that we are so open and eager to have those collaborations.
Okay, no, sorry. Please go ahead, Lisa.
I was gonna say, in the past, we've had great collaborations with like a local artist who was not an English speaker. We went to Jordan, and it was, speaking of popular culture, we picked a song that both of us knew, but she sang it in Arabic. Do things like that as well.
And I think I said that we were wrapping up, but I see Nomisgee is on, and it sounds like connected. So maybe we'll just throw one more question to him. And then I see there's one question from the American Space. So we'll do 2 questions and then we'll wrap. Nomisgee, if you can hear us, could you speak to, again, the question was, how does American music influence Nigerian popular culture and vice versa? How does
Nigerian popular culture influence American music, or how does Nigerian music influence American pop culture?
Yeah, can you hear me, Ram?
Yes.
We can hear you now, great.
Yeah, because last time, I can hear you guys very well. Well, what I want to say on this, what you call now, I can say, I think I jot some things like that about that, but I want to go on. American music help us, a lot to shape our cultural thinking. Hey, you understand, for example, the rise of a kind of Hausa hip hop in the northern Nigeria. You understand? My name is Aminu Abba Umar, but my stage name is Nomisgee. Why I use that Nomisgee? It's all about hip hop. I have to funkify it, looks hip hop, sound hip hop. So that is why I say I'm going to use this as example. Because I'm a journalist, I read mass communication, the influence of American music, let's say, to Nigerian, in particularly northern Nigerian, you understand? Because most of the youths normally use Tupac, Biggie, Nas, Dr. Dre, Snoop Doggy Dogg, So even me too, later when I discover, maybe I can give my quota to help the youths, at the upcoming artists, but no platform. Nothing, nowhere you can go and do it. So I now say, okay, let me just stand up. Let me, find 2 shows on TV, Arewa 24 TV. H hip hop means Hausa hip hop. Then the top 10 musical video, I use the street language to call it Zapapa Goma, which sound very nice. If you understand, that is where the hip hop in the northern part of the country, started. But when I started it, you understand, for like 1 year, 2 years, there is no musical video in the northern part of the country. Yeah, the musical videos is not up to like 10. I have to be going out, with my money, with my camera, with my everything, maybe to search for the talent, shoot video for the talent, you understand, then, package you, show it on TV. But in 1 year, 2 to 3 years to 5 years, everything just blow. Ghana just pick up, Nigeria pick up, some part of Chadi, everywhere. So that is where the hip hop started making noise everywhere, using the street language, street credibility, many things like that. You understand? So later, I'm just telling you what happened because so that maybe you can have an interest about, our success. So when, everything went well, I have the highest huge audience, more than 10 million. They are always watching my show every week, around, the globe. So I started having challenges, from the Islamic sheikhs from all over the northern Nigerian, that I am controlling the society, changing their mindset. Maybe this guy is an American, but maybe it's American send him. You understand, to change their mindset. So this is why I started doing it, but I don't ask, or reply anybody. I just keep doing what I'm doing because I love what I'm doing and the youths need it in the northern part of the country. Like 5 years ago when in Niger, discovered their talent through what I'm doing, so they just created one hip hop festival, which I'm the host every year when it's taking place. So I think when you say the vice versa, you understand, if let's take it back to 2000, year 2000. You understand, when Nigerian music, one of the Nigerian artists, Dipanj, feature American artist Snoop Doggy Dogg, the song titled Endo. That is where we started sharing, featuring each other, you understand. That is where, the door opened, for the other artists in Nigerian. Then secondly, again, then the Americans started featuring Nigerian artists. I think this is the vice versa. You understand? Then secondly, again, this year, I was one of the IBLP member 2025, where I went to US, Washington, D.C., from Washington, D.C. to Michigan, Milwaukee, Atlanta. Then I now came back to New York. So I started wearing my own clothes, you understand? My own clothes, not all these hip hop clothes, whatever. So some artists, some people started asking me, hey, I love this your clothes. Can I get it? Can I have it? So I think then secondly, lastly, I feature one of American artists, one of my song called Rawani. That Rawani is Tobani. the king of Hausa hip hop is here. So I feature one American artist. Think maybe the song is going to come out very soon. But I don't know maybe if it is okay for what I said now. Yeah.
No, thanks. I think that was very insightful. Thanks so much for that. Okay, so I think the last question that we have is from Benin City, the window on America there, and they're asking, we know that music can influence culture, policy, lifestyle, and so on. Have you been able to drive any tangible impact with your music? If yes, how are you able to measure the impact? That's to.
Is it my question?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Thanks.
I think through programs like this, we feel so fulfilled with the opportunity to meet with and sure influence and impact, but we also feel influenced and impact. It's kind of an exchange, right? But in that way, I guess in how we measure it is how, you know, we feel the same impact, the same influence, the same inspiration. And also when we do workshops, you know, being on the platform of female empowerment, oftentimes we are sent to, you know, countries that do not have a lot of gender equity. And we do workshops with, you know, all girls schools, or a lot of women that may not have the same freedoms that we do in terms of self-expression. When we do workshops and master classes with them, and seeing their faces light up and being involved and being able to sing and express themselves in a way that maybe they haven't had before, that's really, really touching for us. And definitely, I don't know, it's an intrinsic, not a tangible measure, but we feel it in our spirits and in our hearts. In a more tangible measure, we've done some, we often, obviously using our social media, we'll post more like music kind of relating to what's happening in the world, what's happening in our own country. We're always posting something when it's an election time. You know, we want everyone to get out and vote. And then we've also done, we did a benefit concert a few years ago for Ukraine. That raised thousands of dollars, which was, you know, a really great way to kind of help in the way that we know how and in our profession. So I think those would be a couple examples of how we've done that.
So thanks so much for that last question. I think we have a surprise for everyone here. The group has offered to sing a song. It's the final. Okay. You don't have to use the mics.
Oh, yeah, I think zero is better
than two.
Oh, yeah, that's better. Thank you.
I know sometimes it feel like saying nobody sent you. That's what I lie. I did for you, my friend. Somebody forgets me. Together with all these things, but I hope that you will love. I hope your heart will still. Every day I pray for you, make my God a blessing too. And never forget me too, no one don't forget you. See my shoulder, make you rest upon me. Oh my God, you we can be okay. And I'm like, don't show now. I won't keep something for you. You know it's love. Anything I get nothing to me and you do you, yeah. But now for you is my friend. I'll do to my friend. I know sometimes it be like say nobody sent you. That's what I did for you, my friend. You always over my. I think my friend. know that I don't taste you, but you're always mine.
Thank you very much. That was so beautiful. And to our audience in the house, if you want to see more of that, it would be at Nikon Luxury on Saturday. Daniel, the American Spaces specialist, shared the flyer for the event. Please, if you haven't RSVP, please do RSVP. You want to see more of that? And their collab with local artists, they need to be at Nikon Luxury on Saturday by 5 p.m. sharp. Tickets are free, but we need you to register so we can plan properly. Thank you very much. And with that, we would wrap this up because they have other engagements we need to ferry them to right away. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you to our audience across our various American spaces. It was great having you here. Nomisgee, we are very, 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 very thankful for your time and for sharing your experience. I'm not sure we still have Prof, but Prof. Liman,
Prof is there.
Okay, it was a pleasure to hear a bit of the historical background to the influence of American music and pop culture. Thank you so much for taking the time. Do enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Is everyone here when I just do a quick? Yes.
Wait,